ciel bleu vole en silence.
Hi, this is Netta. Welcome to the latest episode of the Ageless Style Show. So excited to be here with my longtime friend, Stephanie. Stephanie and I have been friends for
a couple years.
5 or 6 years, maybe 20, maybe 30 something, but a long time, since college, since before college actually, since high school. So yeah, we've known each other for a while. And I'm excited. Stephanie and I have worked together for the last couple of years on her style. She has beautiful natural style, classic, loves color, wears color really well. In the system that I use, Stephanie is deep in coloring, so she does, deeper and more saturated colors really well, and a Style Dial orange in the system that I use. Now, in the last video that I did with the beautiful Ashley, I referred to a Style Dial orange as a pear. I never use fruit terms because I don't think that's how we want to describe ourselves, but Style Dial orange means that you have a little bit more structure here, and you have these narrow feminine shoulders, and Stephanie has all of those features and a beautiful defined waistline. So we just did Stephanie's Fashion Fit formula, and I wanted to kind of go over the balance points that the Fashion Fit formula gives you and why they are so significant. So the first balance point I want to talk about is the breastbone point. So the breastbone point is a point where you're going to feel down, and then there's going to be a depression there. Just above that depression, just above the indentation that we have between our bust, that is your breastbone point. Now, when you get your Fashion Formula point, this is a point that they might adjust to make a little higher or a little lower based on how much space you have here. Stephanie and I both are blessed. Okay, so look, we're like the same person. We're the same height.
Sort of.
Yeah, we're the same height. We have the same amount of pretty much the same amount of space here. We both are blessed with having quite a bit of space in this area to work with. So because Stephanie has her breastbone point, this area is long. She has a lot of area to work with and can do a lot of interesting things in terms of scarves and collars and necklines and necklaces. We can zhuzh and have all the fun there. Like when Stephanie walked in, she was wearing a cowl neck sweater. She can do a cowl neck because she has the space for it. So that's the first point that we're looking at is the breastbone point. So how much space you have between here and here is going to determine how much interest you can add to that area. I always say the more real estate you have to work with, the more fun you can have. One of the reasons you'll never see me in a huge, wide, crazy belt is because I don't have a lot of space here. There's not a lot I can do in this area because there's just not a lot of room there. So where you've got space, you can have fun, right? Okay, another couple of points we're going to look at are the short sleeve length. Everybody's going to get these measurements are based on your specific vertical measurements. How many measurements did we take to get your Fashion Fit?
30?
750 actually. It was no, I'm just kidding. It's actually not as intimidating as it sounds. It only took us about 10 minutes.
Yes.
But we took multiple vertical measurements of Stephanie to get to her exact points. So for example, her breastbone point, we adjusted it so that her neckline or her necklace will be a little bit higher because she has so much space here. With the sleeve length, you're going to get an exact sleeve point that works for your body. So you're going to get a short sleeve length and you're going to get a 3/4 sleeve length. Now keep in mind, as a general rule, when you're talking about sleeve length is if you've got a full bust and you're wearing a short sleeve that intersects you right there at the fullest part of your bust, you're going to be drawing attention to that bust, right? So you're going to want to go a little bit above or a little bit below, and you've got a little bit of flexibility even within those points that you're given with the Fashion Fit formula. Same with a 3/4 length sleeve. So if I'm wearing a sleeve like this and it's intersecting at maybe the biggest part of my belly, or if it's intersecting at my hip, I'm going to draw attention to that spot as well. So the 3/4 length sleeve, the breastbone, and the short sleeve are two of the lengths that we've given. So the next length and the only one or point, the only one that is not absolutely mathematically accurate always on the Fashion Fit formula is the waist. Now, the reason the waist is not as accurate as the other measurements is because there is no way of knowing from your vertical measurements how much space your bust takes up. So you might want to adjust your waist a little bit higher or lower depending on how much space your bust takes up. Now, if you don't have a very full bust, you don't have to worry about that. You just stay with that actual waist measurement that you're given. If you've got more going on in the top, then you may need to like cheat a little bit. Like proportionally for my body, my bust is pretty full, so you're going to take that into account. But the waist measurement is another balance point that is really important. Okay, another one is your leg torso. Your leg torso is where your leg bends, and that crease at your leg torso point. So this is going to be where your like tunics are going to end, your long jackets are going to end. Anything that you want to hit around this area, that adjusted point that you're going to get for that is going to be the flattering spot for your jackets and things like that to end. So we've covered a few of the points. I want to illustrate on Stephanie what some of these strategies are going to look like. So one of the things we talked about with Stephanie is she has these delicate narrow shoulders. She has this beautiful sweater, beautiful color, beautiful fabric, but sometimes we can love a piece and we still need to tweak it a little to just make it a better option for us. So Stephanie's balance point here is obviously something that she can draw attention to with a necklace that she can add to the sweater, and it's going to be a great option for her with a piece like this. Now, because of the dolman sleeve of the sweater, there's a lot of extra fabric there. Now, she's got a couple of options. You can either say, I'm comfortable with it, I'm going to tweak other things about it, and I'm just going to wear it the way it is, or you can, have it taken up so that you're creating an actual kind of sleeve there, which is going to overall be a little bit more flattering, right? But we're not going to always take everything up. I would also say I like the measurement a little bit, or the length of it a little bit shorter on you. But one of the things I think that is a no-sew fix that we can do that's easy and very inexpensive is to add a shoulder pad to the sweater. Now, Ashley did not walk out on me, and Stephanie did not walk out on me when I mentioned shoulder pad. But again, when you have a styled out orange body type, you want to build out your shoulders a little bit. And one of the ways to do that is to add structure in a shoulder. And this sleeve has no structure. So adding a little shape here, as you can see, will build out the shoulder and will throw the body instantly into a more proportional overall silhouette. So shoulder pads are your friend. Shoulder pads are your friend. So I love the sweater overall, but with anything that we love and we want to hold on to, and this is special to you, we can tweak it to make it work. I was saying my mom, and I love you, Mom. My mom gave me a dress that I kind of had to tweak it to make it my own. And so always keep in mind that almost everything is adjustable. Do you know that even bathing suits and bras can be altered? Like, most people don't know that you can even alter so if you've got a favorite bathing suit or a favorite bra and there's just something on it that you want to adjust, almost everything can be fixed. And so the thing about the Fashion Fit formula, 99.9% of the time, the only fixes you're going to have to do are to the length of an item. So it's just a hem, and it's the most affordable alteration that you can do. So so I think a necklace and shoulder pad here will totally take this blouse or sweater to the next level, and hopefully make it something that you reach for again and again.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to pause here and we're going to come back with another look on Stephanie. Okay, I'm back with Stephanie, and we decided to try this all white look on Stephanie. Okay, one of the things that we talk about all the time with a styled out orange body type is that you want to keep the tops interesting and the bottoms quiet. But what if you have a pair of white jeans? Does that mean just because you've got a little bit more shape in the lower half of your body that you can never wear white bottoms ever, ever, ever? My strategy is to do monochromatic and to do white on white. And that balances the whiteness of the jeans, and it kind of makes everything proportional. So if you do white jeans and you do like a darker top or a brighter top, you're going to notice that the eye is going to be drawn to the white jeans, and it's going to be drawn to the lower half of your body. And what you want to do, especially since Stephanie has so much going for her up here, beautiful face, beautiful jawline, lots of space to work with in this area, and a tiny waist, we want that attention up there. And so the white jeans with a darker top is not going to accomplish that. So you really want that monochromatic look. You know what I want to do? I didn't tell Stephanie I was going to do this, but I'm going to throw the jacket on over it so we can see. One of the strategies I use is, doing a darker layer over. Now, nothing is going to be more lengthening than a monochromatic look. That doesn't mean we're both about the same height, right? Doesn't mean we always want to wear the same color head to toe all the time. But nothing is inherently going to be more lengthening than a look that is monochromatic. Now, this jacket hits Stephanie at a great point here. It's just a super flattering jacket overall. But one of the things that we were talking about is with Stephanie, with her shoulders, because her shoulders are narrow, it's going to be the most flattering lapel for her is going to be one that falls halfway, at the halfway mark. So if you're looking at her shoulder here, let me get behind you. It has to be narrower than the halfway mark between her shoulder and her neck. So we talked about this a little bit last week too, but this is Stephanie's neck and the end of her shoulder. A jacket lapel should fall in this range right here to be the most flattering. So this is a little bit wider on her. So I would just probably tweak it and make the jacket lapel a little bit narrower so that it's inside of that area. When it's inside of that area, her shoulders will look broader. When her shoulders look broader, her whole body looks a little bit more proportional. I love the look of, now one of my pet peeves, I'm kind of a word nerd, but one of my pet peeves is when people say monochromatic when what they're talking about is neutral. So I've heard black and white outfits described as monochromatic, and I'm like, no, mono means one. It means you're wearing one color. So before the black jacket, that was monochromatic. This is a neutral outfit, and the black kind of visually erases the sides of your body, as you can see. Now people are like, oh, Stephanie's body is only this little white strip in the middle, right? So that's a little visual trick that you can use. But again, monochromatic is always going to be lengthening. It's always going to be flattering, even if you're using a color that you might be like, oh, should I do white? Like, do I feel comfortable in white? Then do it in a monochromatic way, and it's going to work a lot better. Okay, so another thing we want to talk about is a couple more of the balance points. So one of the balance points is the middle of the knuckle is one of the measurements that we take. So that's going to be another balance point. That's going to be where like a pair of shorts can hit. You can do like a dress at that length. You know, they're going to be different. And when you do your fashion fit formula, you're going to get what these measurements are for. Like there's measurements for jackets and measurements for shorts and measurements for skirts and dresses. You're also going to get a shorter, above the knee length skirt. So that's like a mini skirt length, but it's not mini, it's just above the knee, and which is great, as you saw on in Ashley's video. It's great for a more casual skirt or a fun look. You're also going to get a street length look, which is right around the base of the knee. And then there is the mid calf range where we're looking at like midi skirt or a cropped pants, something like that. So a long coat can hit at that length. So those are the different balance points that we look at on your body. So fortunately, Stephanie bought more than just one or two tops for us to look at, and we're going to look at what some of these pieces look like according to the principles we've been talking about with the fashion formula. Okay, I'm back with Stephanie. This is White House Black Market jacket. I think so. We chose this for her a couple of years ago. I love it. It's got beautiful colors. It's hard to see, but it's got purple and red and hot pink, and it's just beautiful, beautiful coloring for her. And this is the thing about the fashion fit formula is not only can your clothes look more proportional, but they can also make you look, when you're wearing your clothes at the right lengths, you're going to look slimmer and you're going to look younger. And I think most of us can say we want to look taller, slimmer, younger. Like, I think that's a general thing. And if you don't, that's fine. But for our purposes here, we definitely want to achieve that. So this jacket being taken up just a little bit on one side. So you can see I pinned this to her fashion fit formula length and then left the other side longer. Now it's a subtle difference, but the jacket looks younger and hipper at a shorter length. And the other thing that it does is it emphasizes Stephanie's waistline. Now, when we were talking about balance points earlier, one of the things to remember is that at different stages of our life, we're going to want to emphasize different things about our body. Like maybe you really like your knees at 30 and you don't love your knees as much at 60. Whatever that is. So you always wore your skirts above the knees. through your 20s and 30s and 40s, and then you get to a point and you're like, I don't love my knees anymore, so I'm not going to highlight my knees. Stephanie's waistline is one of the things that we always want to emphasize on her because it's beautiful. So if that changed, if someday, which I don't see this happening, but if someday, she filled out a lot through here and she lost the waistline, then this length would no longer be the point on her, the balance point on her body that we're emphasizing. So you get those 9 balance points, right? Where you choose to put the eye, where you choose to focus the eye with the lengths of your clothes is going to be critical. So for example, we're focusing on Stephanie's waist with this length. But if she didn't have a great waistline, we could focus on her leg torso balance point instead and lower that balance point. So we're going to draw the eye. We're going to train the eye to look where we want it to look. And that's really kind of what style is about. And that's how we're all trying to achieve this illusion of balance and proportion. Because I think Janet, who developed the Fashion Fit formula, said out of the tens of thousands of people that she has measured and that have done the Fashion Fit formula, she's found 20 that are perfectly, and I do not want to meet any of those. I'm just kidding. But 20 that are perfectly balanced, perfectly proportional. So the rest of us, our clothes can be a tool that can draw the eye to the parts of our body that we want people to look at, or up here, which is where most of us want everyone to look. So I love this adjusted length on her. I feel like it's a fresher look, it's a more youthful look, and it's also more flattering. So keep in mind that just because you get all those balance points doesn't mean that you're going to always use every one of those balance points. If you are petite, then maybe the mid-calf balance point of a skirt is never going to be something that you're going to be drawn to. So this is just a way of illustrating the different ways that you can alter your clothes, all of them to do with essentially hemming, which is really the most affordable of the alterations. When you have to take in the shoulders on a jacket and do a bunch of other zhuzhing, it becomes a lot more expensive, but a hem is always the least expensive alteration. Okay, I'm back with Stephanie, and this is just the perfect top for her. Not only is this color spectacular, and I don't know if the camera is doing it justice, but it's a beautiful medium Kelly green, kind of just gorgeous color on her. This detail, and I pointed this out with Ashley as well. It comes up right next to her neck here, which will broaden her shoulders, which is a great thing as a styled out orange. And so the neckline is perfect. This hits at the perfect adjusted balance point for her right there. It's just a beautiful overall top. And you said it's easy, and
I love it.
Yeah. We all need multiple tops that we can throw in the wash and they come out and they're perfect and they fit and all this stuff. So I wanted to show you an example of a top that just works so beautifully on Stephanie and that you don't need to do any alterations to. Also want to add that this little pleating detail up here adds a little further interest to the shoulder, and when you're adding interest to the shoulders of styled out orange, you are going to have a more flattering silhouette. It's going to create that illusion of balance that we're all looking for. Okay, now we're going to show you a top that could use a little tweaking.
Doesn't work as well.
Doesn't work as well. Okay, here I am with Stephanie and the shirt that ate Stephanie. She's so pretty and so slim, and this top is just too big for her, right? So there's just extra here, there's extra here, and overall, and you said this was a small.
It is.
So some tops are just cut to be slouchy. You should be able to wear a small, and a small should fit you perfectly. But the point of this top is for it to be a little oversized, right? So I'm going to show you how, if you've got a top like this sitting in your closet and you love it, and you're like, oh, this is my comfy top, or I love this top, or whatever, how can you adjust that a little bit? First of all, this, nobody needs that in the front, right? It's also a little long on Stephanie. So we're going to do this, right? And so just being shorter and losing the little pouch so sometimes when they knot a T in the front, it's really flattering. It's a little higher up and it defines your waistline. Sometimes it's lower and you're like, well, it looks like I have a little extra belly there, and she has nothing. So having that higher is going to be one thing. The other thing is, there's just extra fabric here. So I'm going to grab one of my handy dandy clips, and we're going to clip it in the back and just show what a difference it makes when this shirt actually fits a little bit. So one of the things we discussed with this shirt is she could actually even add some pleats, like a pleat on the back, that could just kind of take it all in and just make it a little bit more, basically just fit a little bit better. So just because something is our size doesn't mean it's always going to be our size. And we've talked many times about how one size does not fit all, and there are not, everybody who wears a small in the world does not all look exactly the same. But I think it's so much better when it's taken in a little bit and it's a little bit more proportional to her body. And then we've also gotten rid of the little extra fabric that they added down there. What do you think? Is it better?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't wear the clip in the back, but
What? What?
but no, I do like the silhouette with it more narrow.
Yeah. And sometimes we just want a slouchy top that's going to be a comfy top, and that's totally fine. Like, it's your casual, comfy, slouchy top, totally fine. But when we're looking to step it up a little or to dress up a little, we want to pay attention to details like that fit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here it is, without it, lots of extra fabric.
Not nearly as flattering.
Yeah, not nearly as flattering. And, again, just a little big. Sometimes we've all ordered things where you're like, but I ordered it in my size. And it, it comes too small or too big. So everything is figure outable. Everything is adjustable. Okay, now we're going to try on something else. I'm back with Stephanie, and we are trying on this beautiful skirt from Loft. It's got a little cutout detail at the bottom, like a laser cut pattern at the bottom. And so, one of the things that we look at is like, what is the flattering length for us to wear skirts? So Stephanie is athletic and plays tennis and runs, and so she's got tennis skirts, and those are going to be at the shorter length of a skirt, the micro mini length. The a more casual, like, circle skirt like this or skater skirt style is going to be at your mini skirt length. You can have a more formal or business look skirt or something you might wear to church or whatever that could be at your street length. And then there's the mid calf length, which Stephanie and I are probably, even though we both have longish legs for our height, we probably will both avoid the mid-calf skirt unless we're doing a monochromatic look from the waist down. So if you're petite and you're doing that mid-calf or midi length skirt, just try to keep that bottom look monochromatic just for extra length, right? Okay, so Stephanie's, her specific mini skirt length is 19.5 inches from the floor. One of the easy strategies you could do is to have a yardstick that's already marked up with your measurements on it, and then you just hold it up like this and you're like, oh, my skirt's the right length, my jacket's the right length. Yeah, it just makes it super easy. So we're gonna do this, and okay, so her skirt is actually pretty much the perfect length. Okay. This is 20 inches above the floor, so you get a little bit of leeway. You can do like an inch to one direction or other. She's got 20 inches above the floor. Her length is 19.5. That's perfect. Especially with that hem, with the detailed hem and the design there, that would be kind of hard to alter. You'd need to alter it from the top, not from the bottom. Right. I'm not a sewer. You can tell when I say things like that. But I think that's a great length on her. If you were to make it with a skirt this silhouette, if you were to take it down to her like street length, she would find that this is not as flattering with that kind of a more casual look. So I really like that mini skirt length on you. If you have beautiful legs, show off your legs by doing your, and especially if you're petite, show off your legs by wearing your skirts just a little bit shorter. It will be a more flattering look overall. It'll lengthen you and show off one of your best features. Okay, I'm back with Stephanie in her fun dress. Stephanie and I both love this dress. We love the pattern. We love the color. She can do pattern and color very well. But there was something off about this dress, and Stephanie didn't exactly know what it was. So we've taken the measurements of this dress. It hits her at the right spot lengthwise. This is a beautiful neckline for her. The balance point there for her neck is great. The sleeve length is in a flattering point. What could be wrong with this dress? All the points, like check, check, check. So one of the things that we don't talk about often enough when we're talking about personal style is the proportion of a pattern to your personal proportions. So Stephanie is petite, like I'm petite, and this is a big circle, right, on the front of her small body. So when you are choosing patterns, you want the patterns to be in proportion to your body. So if you're a petite person, more petite patterns are going to be a little bit more flattering. Now, can you Do you have some flexibility? Yeah, you could do, small to medium. But when you're petite and you do a large pattern, or when you're larger and you do a really small pattern, it's going to look out of proportion, out of balance with your natural proportions. So the only thing that's wrong with this cute dress is that the pattern here is so large and Stephanie is petite. So something to keep in mind when you're choosing patterns, if you're like, can I wear that big splashy pattern? If you are a taller person with bigger bones, yeah, you can do a big splashy pattern all day long. If you're a more petite person with smaller bones, then you're going to want to keep the pattern medium to small. So something to keep in mind, this is still a cute, fun, running around dress. She's still going to look adorable. But if we're trying to tweak and get to that level of, feeling like, ooh, everything's just magical on me, then, in her next dress, her next fun dress, she'll choose a little bit of smaller pattern.
Definitely.
So I hope Stephanie was such a good sport. I hope that this was helpful to you guys, and that seeing it on other beautiful women, I know usually I'm just trying to illustrate everything on my one body, and I've got my own body type challenges and proportions that I deal with, but seeing it on other women can kind of help bring to life some of the concepts that I talk about, and hopefully you'll be able to see yourself in one of these other beauties. So coincidentally, the first couple of women that I featured both have the same body type and the same height, which is kind of funny, although as you can see, even if you're the same height and the same body type, you're not the same person, and they look very different, and their balance points are unique to them. Their specific vertical measurements are going to be unique to them, and so they're going to have different strategies that they're going to use to bring out their personal best. But I hope that some of these tips resonated with you, that you were able to take some of them, run with them, and incorporate them into your own wardrobe. If the Fashion Fit formula is something you're interested in checking out, definitely check out the link in the description box below. And thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah. I'm going to bring her back. She probably will not want to join me again for a future video because I spent so much time with her today, but hopefully hopefully we'll be able to bring her back for another video. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll see you in the next one.